Welcome back to an all-new installment of Super Metal Brothers. I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dan.
Danny, we're here once again to talk about the news, the reviews. We've got more for the listeners. But first, 1st of June, that's actually an exciting day. Something very special has happened on this day.
Oh, yeah, Marilyn Monroe was born. That was always a highlight
I was
for
going
us
to say
all.
it's 2 days for my birthday.
Oh, it is? Oh, I'm sorry. I was being selfish, thinking about myself.
But if you don't follow Super Metal Dan on Facebook, you'd know it's his birthday. He's just kicked the 30, so make sure you just wish him a very, very happy birthday. Congratulations, Dan, you old-timer.
So you got to repeat that. I'm getting a bit old my age. What'd you say?
No, I'm 32, so I can't remember what I just said.
What are we here for?
Well, I know what we're going to hear for. We're going to do the headline news, so let's jump right into it, Danny.
Well played.
All right, so for the headlines, first up, we're going to go straight onto it, and we're going to talk wrestling for the first time here on Super Metal Brothers. Danny, you excited to be talking about the WWE?
Ooh, yes.
What you going to do, brother, when the Super Metal Brothers go wild on you, dude?
I get it, brother. See what you're doing there.
Oh, mate. So Triple H from NXT, if you don't know who Triple H is, he's been an old-time wrestler. He just does his thing, you know. He's actually the guy who runs NXT, which is a side brand of the WWE now. And he's doing a lot of cross-promotion work. And his new one, he must be listening to the podcast, Danny. Can you believe it? Because he's gotten Baby Metal on board.
Oh, man, if we're listening to it, then someone else must be listening to it. We have about a handful of people listening to on podcast on like SoundCloud. That must mean Triple H is listening to it because 2 degrees separation. What is it? Yeah,
exactly. It must be because at the end of the day, we said we're going to trademark those ideas. We didn't, and now we're getting punished for it.
Well, look, yeah, but we all know where the idea came from. We just go back 1 week. Wasn't that long ago? I mean, to be fair, it was a whole decade ago for myself.
But to be honest, WWE sounds like a small company, so I don't think they got much money. So
I mean, yeah, they had to change the name because a bunch of animal activists.
That's right.
Said that they should have the F, not them. So a bunch of like big tough dudes are scared of like animal activists. Jeez.
That's right. Yeah. So if you want to watch some hardcore wrestling, apparently you have to go to the zoo. So never mind. But we're going to talk about it anyway. So Triple H has got Baby Metal involved. So for the next pay-per-view, they're going to plug one of the songs off the new Baby Metal album. So as far as cross promotion goes, Baby Metal are just taking off right now. And if they're the biggest thing and WWE want them, there's no stopping these guys.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. I mean, it'd be a great chance for wrestling to have more metal bands. I think Triple H said himself he's a mass metalhead. He had Motorhead play
that's right
on one of his pay-per-views.
We've seen Killswitch do a song for CM Punk, which funny enough almost broke up the band. They had such a hard time recording and writing that song that it actually split the unit at one point. Can you believe it?
Wow. And talking about Killswitch, I think fans of Killswitch will stay tuned for something happening a little bit later on.
That's right. We've got an INCARNATE review coming up. So let's go on to our next story. And I cannot believe this is the second time I'm going to mention this, but Aborted have actually done the unthinkable and done another side project band. Well, at least 3 of the members from Aborted have started a new side project band, and that's called Oracles. Danny, have you heard the new track from this band? I
have heard a new track from the band Oracles. That is apparently they used to be another formation of System Divide.
Yep.
It sounds the same. I heard a couple of System Divide songs and I heard the Oracle song. And I thought it was the same band, but it's good. Again, it's good to go again using the female singer plus the male singer, like in a Flesh God, so they can come with different dynamics. And that's really cool. Ground groovy, man.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an album we're going to definitely review. But I just love the intensity. Some of those riffs, like they're bringing some of that gent inspiration with the more death metal and ferociousness, and they've combined it really well together, so look forward to that. So check it out. Moving on to a sadder story for some fans. We've witnessed the end of Dethlok, Danny.
Yeah, that's Dethlok without an A, like a Megadeth. So true metal fans will understand that's why Dethlok's spelled that way.
Yeah.
And no C before the K because I guess they're Happy Gilmore fans. And
yeah, so if you guys...
R-O-C-K.
If you guys been watching Comedy Central, they've been doing the show called Metal Apocalypse. And that's been continuing for a few seasons, but they've actually gotten to a point now where Brendan Smalls told Metal Injection it's not happening. Danny, there's a funny story to it. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, I've got time, Matt. Yeah.
All right, so for all you listeners out there, it is now Super Metal Brother Matt's giving you some bedtime stories. So Comedy Central, for financial reasons, have told Brendan Small that they cannot continue the show. Now, he went away, and financials backers came, and they offered him just under $2 million. So the fans have gotten together on social media, they pumped it up, and now they've got financial backers. You know, they want to see this happen. So they came back to Comedy Central like, hey, guess what? We can do this. We got all the money we need. And Comedy Central just turned to him and said, no, you don't get it. We don't want to do the show anymore. Dude, that must really have sucked.
Well, I understand, like, Comedy Central, there's no risk really for Comedy Central. You have other people want to fund it. They obviously have a big fan base. I mean, just play it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Who's going to pay attention? I have a feeling that Comedy Central are kind of maybe trying to like sell their business or sell like a model to someone, trying to get more advertisers. And some of the advertisers are like, man, we're not going to advertise you if that Metal Apocalypse shirt's on there. So Comedy Central are playing all dumb. Like, nah, we're not putting Metal Apocalypse on. Nah, we're not. And then once they get these advertisers or something change over, then Metal Apocalypse come back. And maybe we'll call it a different name. Maybe Apocalypse Metal.
They're content to playing some of the old episodes, though. So maybe they're like, dude, you guys aren't funny as you used to be anymore. I wish they do that to Family Guy, because that really needs to stop.
Yeah, even Robot Chicken, I think that's kind of slowly working out.
They did that awesome thing with Star Wars. And like, I've laughed at that. And they're like, wow, this is great. And then they're just kind of riding that coattail. So maybe it's for the best. Who knows, guys? Let us know what you think about the Metal Apocalypse being discontinued from our shelves. So that's a bit of sad news. On to some lighter news. Now, this is interesting. Danny, have you heard AC/DC with Axl Rose?
I have heard AC/DC Axl Rose. I held off as long as I could, but to do justice and have some sort of credibility in this commentary, I know credibility is hard, and you don't know who I am, or you don't really know what I'm saying, or you don't believe me, but pretend I have heard Axl Rose sing live, and what I can say is that he does a good job as an AC/DC lead singer.
You know, it's funny because Paul Ryan's come out. He's a Republican in the States. If you don't know who Paul Ryan is, we forgive you. We didn't really know who he was either.
Yeah, to help the Australians, Paul Ryan's kind of like if Tony Abbott and Pauline Hanson had a love child, and then
what an ugly love child.
Yeah, I mean that's one part. But then those love childs got together, had another love child. This is what this guy represents on the political scale.
It's process of basically inbreeding on the third degree. That's what Danny's trying to say.
Yeah, and he hates poor people. Just put it that way.
Yeah, but what he said is that it's a little weird, and he doesn't like his raspy tone, Axl Rose's raspy tone. But Angus Young's come out and defended Axl Rose, and I think Axl Young has a point. He hasn't done anything bad. He's done what's needed for the songs, and I thought he could hit the notes. And what doesn't help guys like Paul Ryan is because he came out and said, I've got a list from AC/DC to Led Zeppelin, but Danny, that's only 2 CDs.
Yeah, it's not that impressive. And I don't think with the CDs, he probably got like a greatest hits of like other radio shows which only have those 2 songs on there. So I think he's only got 1 CD and happens to have AC/DC and Led Zeppelin on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because if you got AC/DC to... It's only A to L. It's not A to Z, like, unless you go his last name first. But who alphabetizes their CDs like that? Maybe Republicans do, but... for the people who love their CDs and don't want to get mixed up. So
it's just all political spin, man. He's just a political spin. This Paul Ryan guy, he doesn't know what he's even talking about. Like, well, what is music?
He kind of has heart. This is what politicians do. They're like, no, I'm touched with the youth. I'm cool. I know AC/DC. What's other bands? Metallica.
Yeah, it's like last week. Goes all those cool kids from the 90s. Yeah, I listen to Metal Man. Yeah, Enter Sandman. What other songs you listen to? Oh, yeah. Oh, I gotta go. My mum's calling, man.
Oh man, yeah. It's heavy, yeah. But check it out, because I think Axl Rose is doing an okay job. The metal community sure isn't killing him on it, so you must know he's doing okay. To be, incredibly passionate about AC/DC. It makes sense that people would kill it, but they didn't. They just kind of let it be on their websites, and they don't really say much else about it. So take it for what it is. It's just, some singing.
Yeah, they were really punishing AC/DC style with the fans. I think like in Belgium, 7,000, 6,000 people demanded a refund, but I have heard stories of that since, so you got to give him credit. And I think, look, Axl Rose so far has behaved himself. I guess to be fair, he's wheelchair bound, so it's not like he can really run off quickly. So hopefully AC/DC might be like wheeling him into their shows. Yeah,
that's right. When I thought he sprained an ankle in true Axl Rose fashion sitting on that throne, and I was like, this is not going to help him out at all. But, we'll take it for what it is. Lots of people who love metal in Europe. And the reason why we know there's lots of people that love metal in Europe, Danny?
Because we're going to go there.
We are.
I know our bands are from there.
But someone out there has gone to the trouble and putting a number of bands per million people at like a sort of graph. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. If you ever wanted to know where to go in Europe based purely on metal bands, I mean, to be fair, they don't really do genres of metal, but just go based purely on metal. When of course the northern European countries, the Norse countries are. Oh, they're chock is full. I think like every street corner there's a metal band playing.
Oh, that's right. Finland especially is 630 metal bands per million people. That must be a prerequisite. It's almost like people here who follow an AFL team. That's for them. It's like I'm in a metal band. Like, duh, isn't it obvious? It's just how does it happen?
Yeah, I know people, I guess, paint their letterboxes and the gutters of the roads different colours to represent what metal they like.
See, it seems the thing that the further north you go on this map, the colder it is, and the more bands who are pissed off about being cold write metal music. So maybe that's the biggest problem with Australia, is that we need global warming to happen faster so we can have more metal bands in it.
But when they make it hotter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would make less metal bands. All right, guys.
No, but that's where to stop global warming, start global cooling, man.
Global cooling, guys. If you want to see more brutal metal bands coming from your shores only, you need to make sure, get that CFC and just put it in the bin. Just get rid of that stuff. Hey, Danny.
Yeah, but also I guess that's why it explains why Tasmania is very good. Like, one of the most successful metal bands is Psychroptic, and they're from Tasmania. And they've only got, 20 people in Tasmania.
Yeah, but maybe they, sit in a fridge and just do rehearsals, in a big cooler or something. You know, it makes sense, because then they'd be angry.
Yeah, I mean, what else you got to do in Tasmania apart from, climbing trees and seeing your relatives? Just saying, because it's birthdays.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Birthdays
that's
and
right.
nothing
But the
essential
place you
there.
have sex with. Oh, no. What
Fun for the whole family.
No. So, and to finish off our segment today, we just wanted to give you another great love story. We finished on a love story last week, Dave. Did you remember that?
My birthday.
Yeah, when it came to that, the best wedding of all time, where the lovely wife
that's great.
presented her husband-to-be with all these metal bands, wishing him off into a new celebrated goodness, which would be their marriagehood. This week, Danny, what happened?
Yeah, so another fantastic news story, full of just warm hearts, and makes you realize that life is great and life is good, and turning 30 isn't that bad. There's nothing wrong with turning 30 and being single.
All right, Danny.
But no, the story of the matter is Rob Flynn, aka Machine Head lead man, apparently 6 years ago had his favorite guitar and even, I guess, a personally signed Dimebag Darrell guitar stolen from him, which was very distressing for Rob Flynn, considering Dimebag passed on. This probably would have meant quite a lot to Rob Flynn. So for him to get the guitar back after so long, it was just a great story, and the way he got it back was amazing. I think they could do a movie based on this whole story where that some girl bought those storage war shows where they buy locked up storage containers.
Yeah, they kind of have these Jedis who touch the metal gate and they're like, "There's a car in here. We must spend $400." How do they know? They always manage to get these obscure. There was a one time there was a astronaut costume in there, so actually legit one from NASA. I'm like,
that's stupid.
What did Neil Armstrong do after he went to the moon? It's had a great time. Where are you going to store it? In a museum? No, we'll just put it in a storage locker. How does it happen? But, maybe I'm buying into it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. The TV cameras are always there when this happens. It's just the best timing ever.
Love it.
Anyway, going back to the Rob Flynn story, apparently this lady, I don't know her name is, let's call her lady, because that's easier.
Yeah.
She bought the...
Top lady.
Top lass, because what she's done is quite noble.
Yeah.
She bought this container for $10. $10, that's American, so that's about 14 Australian or so. So just to help you out a bit, which is pretty much a lunch. So for a lunch meal, she bought this container which had, I think it was 2 or so guitars or all this other stuff. But one of the guitars she knows had a bit of a signature on the back. She thought, signatures on a guitar, that's going to be worth something. Took it down to a local, I guess, pawnbroker or so on. That pawnbroker was able to take a photograph or something of the signature, and somehow there's a Google app, because there's an app for everything. I think there's an app to measure levels. I think there's an app for wind direction. There's an app to count the pimples on your back. This app here actually said, that photograph belongs to this guitar, and then they backtrack the story, because Google somehow links that photo to the guitar and all the stories on Google and all this Big Brother shit. And they determined, this guitar belonged to Rob Flynn. The lady got in contact with, I think, Dunlop, pick up something, the head guy, and said, I've got your guitar, and reunited with Rob Flynn.
Yeah.
Oh, with that one breath, shit.
Yeah, that was, wow, Danny, that was really cool. So there you go. Congratulations to Rob Flynn getting back his guitar. I don't know how I would live without it. I mean, girlfriends and wives come and go, but when you lose your guitar, you lose a part of yourself, don't you, Danny?
Yeah, I don't understand the pain you must go through when you break a string.
Oh, man.
That must be worse than giving birth, I think.
You actually hurt. Oh, it must be. I honestly, I've never cried so much in my life.
Oh, I mean, the string goes and nick your finger, and you got to do the string, you got to fix it.
You have to go down to the shop, which is probably 10 minutes away.
Line up, get your card out, pay for it. It's a whole... you might as well give up on life.
Yeah, honestly, don't practice. There's no reason why you need to. So there you go. Thank you, Rob Flynn. Thank you, the lady who gave Rob Flynn's guitar. And thank you for people who leave shit very expensive stuff in abandoned storage containers because, without you, we wouldn't spend $10.
And people with no idea wouldn't watch a dumb TV show, which they shouldn't watch.
I
Stop
love it.
supporting those dumb reality shows, people. Live your
Don't
life.
tell me what to do! I need to watch
I'm old now. I can give advice when no one asks for it, because that's what old people are allowed to do.
That's right, you hit 30 now, you're like conceited,
So, what'd you say?
face.
I can't hear what you said, so I'm a bit old now. What?
On to our feature presentation, Danny. We are going to bestow our knowledge on the metal community, but more importantly, we're going to do it with the lead singer from Whitechapel.
I think this is more old man stuff now, so this is good. I can again throwing out my advice when no one asks for it.
Okay, so if you don't know what happened, there was a feature article on, I think it was either Metal Injection or Metal Sucks. I think it was Metal Injection. Anyway.
Yeah, we shouldn't mention because they don't sponsor us. So
it was from another inferior
website,
metal publication that we definitely don't use every week for our resource for news stories.
Nah.
But what he's come out and said is that fans are too obsessed about true metal. And his exact quotes are, "You should like music just for the way it sounds, not because he was associated with it. If you like the song, just listen to it." Danny, what does this all mean?
Yeah, apparently I don't know if it's from the lead singer Whitechapel's first-hand experience of what he just hears through the grapevine, but it comes to the point now where, for starters, there's too many subgenres, and people are very passionate about the subgenres more so than political parties or religion. It's like I was born into this subgenre, and I believe in this subgenre, and I'll die listening to only this subgenre. Even though this subgenre has only been in existence for 6 months, I will follow it to my death. And then you have these people they'll hear a song and they hear it listening, and this is a pretty sweet song, man. And they go to their friend, say, "Friend, who is this band?"
Yep.
And the friend will go, "This is blah blah band." You're like, "Oh, I hate blah blah. Therefore, I hate this song I liked only 10 seconds ago." So really, that sounds like old people forgetting shit.
Well, it's interesting because what we need to do now is to clear up within the metal community what is true metal.
Yeah.
So what we need to do firstly is discuss what true metal looks like and what true metal sounds like, okay? So let's talk about what true metal looks like. Danny, nothing speaks to metal truer than what it looks like than putting it into a stereotype.
Oh, stereotypes are great. I mean, you have to think about stereotypes.
That's right. It's like being racist, but like towards white people, so, it's okay. So let's talk about what it looks like to be metal. Like, so when you see it, like, that's metal. Like, you see that, it's like, that's not metal. So you can look at, someone in the pop industry and immediately cast them away. Danny, what do you look for when you see, what looks metal?
Oh, what looks metal? Again, this is tricky, man, because it goes through the different genres, through the different years. But we're going to be very simple, very generic, probably very Hollywoodized version of what metal is.
A big blanket over it, so there's no more debate about it because people we don't want to debate anymore. We know the answers. We've got them all here. We've got them all in our beautiful studio with our Rolex watches, with 2 L's, and our beautiful new Ferraris that don't come with any doors.
Ferraris are sweet. Mine's like remote control.
Oh, man.
It was my birthday present, man. It's really sweet, man. I think I already broke a wheel.
Which I had a remote control. So let's talk about their looks.
Looks. Okay, first thing you got to start with, man, is the long hair, brother.
Long hair or no hair?
Yeah,
you have to choose.
Yeah,
you can't be true metal and expect to be one or the other. You got to do it.
You can't have short back and side haircut. That's not metal.
If you're going to a job interview, you're not metal. Doesn't matter if you're playing Cannibal Corpse or Ferrero Rocher. It doesn't matter.
You could be beating up on a puppy while you're walking to that metal thing. That's still not metal, man.
That will just make you an arsehole unless you're wearing corpse paint. That's another thing, Danny. Corpse paint, very metal.
Corpse paint, yeah, that's getting on the top echelons of metal, man.
If you need to look like the Crow, then you're starting to look like a true metalhead. You could play. That's the thing, because imagery overrides sound. Like, you can sound like Lordy, but if you look like Viking warriors that wear their daughter's face paint, you're in.
Yeah, I mean, to describe good levels of corpse paint, we can use the Joker from Batman as an example. So
that's decent.
We go Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Yeah, he's pretty metal.
Yeah, but then you go Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker.
That's even more metal.
More metal. And then you go Joker, the Arkham Batman animated series, and that's okay metal. Not so much corpse paint there.
Yeah, it's kind of got that trans kind of gender thing from the Poison era. So it's kind of like he'd fit into that kind of metal, which is dressing up like a girl, very metal.
Yeah. Jared Leto, I don't know, that's actually a weird different metal. That's more like Marilyn Manson metal.
Yeah, you gotta do it like, there's a whole thing of the glam metal in the 90s, I think it was, and you put that lipstick on and your nail polish and your suspenders,
your teased up hair.
You have to get your you spray hairspray cans of it, and you need to go to town on those locks.
Yeah, that's where Duckface came from. All these like girls on like Facebook stuff with Duckface, that came from metal bands, ladies.
They're not metal because they haven't teased their hair enough.
Yeah, and they got like no like steel spikes on, man. Because you need to also have steel spikes or something studded or something leather when it comes to metal.
Here's the thing: bondage and S&M is metal. Like if you're wearing, your studs and like a gimp suit, that's pretty metal.
Yeah, borderline like homophobic, like homosexual shit, man. That's like pretty much considered metal. But we're not, man. We're like men,
Nah, everyone's cool. See, this is the thing. We embrace every culture and every society, but it's just the look. This is the thing about metal. It takes all the stuff that people think, oh, that's kind of weird. Oh, it's metal. That's metal. You know what I mean?
That's metal. Yeah.
So, I think more importantly, though, we need to talk about how nudity is definitely metal. Look at Manowar, for example. If you're wearing a loincloth and holding a sword, that's metal.
Wow, that is like more metal than like T1000 in a metal recycling plant metal.
Oh, absolutely. It is quintessential that you need to wear less, and that's more.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But these guys here, they're like built like tanks, man. Even the guy now apparently...
Gyms are metal. Weights are metal.
Weights are metal. Yeah, they're like legit metal. I mean, like anything where a magnet gets attached to it, that's considered metal.
Yeah. So, that's going to help it up. We've covered black metal. Obviously, we covered death metal, being bold and angry and being muscly.
Yeah.
We call it glam metal, all that kind of stuff. So we know what it looks like. So when you see it, you know what it is, right? And we hope we cleared that up for you. Yep. But how does it sound? Like true metal has a sound. That's what the guy from Whitechapel was talking about. People hear a band and like, it sounds like Nickelback, and I must hate it because everyone hates Nickelback.
Yeah.
So
it's true. We should actually say sorry for mentioning that name. The name which shouldn't be mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, like the 3 viewers that tune in every week.
Instead of Nickelback,
Metal Brothers.
That's right, yeah. I guess we're 2 of those 3 as well.
All right, so let's talk about sound. Danny, what is a metal sound?
A metal sound can be summed up as a car crash on top of a volcano, erupting. That's metal. That's
growls. I'm talking, that is a growl or a shriek. So if you can hear it, it's not metal pretty much. Like if you can understand it and like transcribe it, it's not metal.
For Russell Allen, you can hear Russell Allen.
Yes, and this is the thing. When you talk metal, you need to have an operatic approach as well. So if you've got a register that is 3 or 4 octaves above, any pop or rock or whatever, that's metal. Hey, like you need to obviously get your testicles and put them in your right hand and don't let go for 3 minutes until you finish that song. Yeah,
until you hear the dogs in your neighborhood barking and that the dog's actually incorporated into your soundtrack and you actually like alter the dog sound to make it sound like a growl, then that's metal on metal, man. That gets more brutal.
Dog pound metal.
Dog pound metal, man. That's brutal.
Get onto it. It's like dogcore.
Yeah, and that's full metal because you're like in a dog.
Jack Russell core.
Jack Russell core.
Oh, man, I wish I could listen to some Jack Russell core later on. Yeah, so it's a sound, right? And that's what true metal is. If you're singing, it's probably not going to be true metal because like it's going to be sensitive and it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And then, your mum's going to like it. And then you have to explain to your friends why you stop your 13-year addiction to buying guitars and,
Yeah, especially when you're wearing all that, like you got your long hair, you got all that like leathery gimp stuff, but you listen to like soft sensitive lyrics. People start kind of question you.
You can't combine, wearing stockings and being like this awesome guy from the 80s and then expecting to be sensitive. You can't do both. You can choose one or the other. Too much metal becomes not metal. It's like a polarizing. It's a full circle, isn't it?
It's like a roller coaster. You keep climbing up that metal ladder.
Metal don't like playing too hard. See, if you try too hard, then it's like... See, that's why some of the production of black metal is like, meh. As soon as you have good production, like Do Me Boogie, people don't like it. I'm like, right. I can hear what they're doing. Oh my God, because their metal look is so good that if their sound is so good, people are like, no, it's too much. You're too good at being metal, so you're bad at it.
That's right. It's like if you become too good and then you become commercial level metal. And whoa, man, you can't be good and famous at the same time. That's not metal. You need to struggle financially and you need to live out of a van. That is metal, man.
Yeah, or you put all your money in production and then you look like hobos. If you have one or the other, and so that's the paradox that people have to understand when talking about true metal. You can do one or the other really well, but you can't do both.
Yeah, so I think we're trying to say like stereotypes are fun and all, and they don't really progress anything, but we've enjoyed stereotyping the hell out of what we really love.
Oh, absolutely. I think right now we can safely move on to our last segment because we have again solved completely finished a war. No more arguments in playgrounds. No more fighting. All those ads that the government's put out about people beating each other up. They can just put them away. We have solved war. We have done it.
Yeah, I don't know how us defying our parody version of what true metal is solve wars. But all I can...
You don't get it, Danny. You're not metal enough.
I'm not metal enough, man. I'm not black enough today.
That's right. You need to put more makeup on, Danny, or, get that CD of yours and, put some scratches into it so you can't hear it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, man. I've just decided I'm too commercial today, man. I'm just going corporate.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for that segment. And for our very last one, we're going to doing the review of Killswitch Engage Incarnate. Danny, let's talk Killswitch. Have you been a fan of them? Yes or no?
I will say yes, with a long, this album here is interesting. But we'll go back to the original point. Yes, me and Mal, we've been fans of Killswitch for a long time. I think that's one of the first bands I got into back when the Jesse first started as their singer.
Yeah, Jesse was the first guy, and he's come back for the third album he's been on. There was a previous album before this called Descent, and before that, he took a hiatus from the band, deciding that he had confidence issues and he wasn't in a very good place when he first joined the band. So he did one album when he first joined the band, being I've already forgotten what it's called, Live or Just Breathing. And after Alive or Just Breathing, he went on hiatus, and then Tim Howard came in to fill the ranks. So now we're here, so many years later, and he's done his third album with the band. And Danny, this album has caused some people to love it, and some people to not so much hate it, but be a bit meh with it.
Yeah, I'm more so in the latter with the whole meh approach. Overall thing we'll get to at the end, but I guess we can start with our 5 main ways of deciphering what we consider.
That's right.
How we judge an album. We have our 5 ways of doing it.
So we talk riffs, we talk
vocals,
we talk groove, we talk diversity. And then Danny and his diversity. And then we talk about the final one, which is the production, which is pretty much our overall impression of the whole entire package. So let's talk riffs, Danny. The riffs on this album, the guitar stuff. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? Why?
I would mention riffs. I actually heard a riff on the whole album. There was no money riffs on this album. There's nothing like where I just wanted to blast my speaker so loud that I can't hear the police siren behind me. And that's how you get out tickets. You just pretend you don't hear it.
Yeah. Look, I've never seen a police officer being angry for you listening to metal.
Nah, never.
There's always, people need to go to the office and be like, I was speeding, listening to anything, the new Sugar album. Oh, yeah. Duh.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you?
Listen to music loud in your car. That's metal. Please understand that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was it code 1045 of the police thing? Yeah, you can't arrest someone who listens to heavy metal loud.
So the riffs on this album, here's the thing. The one thing that for old Killswitch fans would love is they had a bit of an anger and a bit of an edge to all their riffs. When you talk Alive or Just Breathing or End of Heartache, those albums there had a similar structure to a degree with the way they would structure a song. But the riffs themselves had a certain intensity, and they just kind of grab you and kind of grind your face against the gutter and just be like, this is like edgy and raw. And even the choruses, they were catchy, still had a lot of passion and a lot of drive to it. Later on, now they've started to get a sound where they're in a great place. They're happy, they're inspired, they're talking about things that they've overcome. And Danny, when metal bands go happy, I tend to fall out of love with them.
Yeah, again, being happy is not metal, man. You have to be upset and depressed, just like that's why Northern Europe is so great, because they're always depressed because it rains 29 million days of the year.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. So there are some. Here's the thing: there are some great riffs off this album. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of thrown all around the place to really give Jesse Leach the freedom to kind of, and he goes off like this vocal performance here. He hits all the registers, hits all the screams, all that. But the riffs themselves, we could talk about riffs like Until the Day, which is like, Danny, it must be like a melodic power metal song, really. Like that's a good variation. Some of those hardcore riffs that you hear in some of the earlier stuff, like Strength in the Mind or Alone I Stand, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, actually, track 8 is actually my favorite track off the album. I don't say that too often. When my CD player was refusing to play tracks 1 to 7, it was the only time I used to like track 8 only. But this one has to be my favorite album song, more so because it has like a powerly metal sound to it, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, that's and the great to see. I think a lot of friends that I've shown this song to are like, wow, is this how the album sounds like? I'm like, no. Like this is apart from, I must admit, the extras the special edition. Yeah, those tracks, there's 2 tracks of the special edition, which are heavier, but we cannot really incorporate into this album because it's funny enough, that kind of stuff doesn't really fit on this album.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, going to the riffs, I still couldn't find any riff that I really ultra remembered or really wanted to hear over and over again. Like, the song ends, you want to start again just so you can go to that part of the song where you really want to jam it loud.
Yeah.
Some of the breakdowns, like after, second chorus breakdown, second chorus solo,
Yeah.
some of those breakdowns are cool and heavy and chunky and a bit groovy. That's sweet. But I can't remember of any decent riffs.
Yeah, like Embrace the Journey and Quiet Distress, they like had that, a bit of intensity to it in the start or whatever. But again, it hits the chorus and you're like, this is a formula that they've got down now. Jesse does this anthem, which he does very well. So if you like the way that Killswitch do songs and they have that anthem chorus that you sing live, and this is what Killswitch do now for albums, I think, is make sure they have the album that they can play live because they know what the fans want to hear. And we might just not be that fan anymore.
Yeah, true. I guess that's pretty much for riffs. Probably vocal performance. I think Matt really put on. Jesse does a great job, and Jesse does.
Yes. So we'll go back to riffs and we'll come back to vocals in a sec. So let's just say,
riffs,
so we're on to riffs. But we'll just have to say with the riffs, it's not a coloured in star. It's like for the fans of Killswitch and the fans of like that hardcore sound, they're gonna like us. There's a lot of different variations in riffs, but nothing that grabbed me and pulled me into just this is exactly what I fell in love with in Killswitch before. But not to say they're still bad songs, but again, probably you agree, Danny?
I agree.
So we'll talk about lyrics. So the riffs are fine in themselves, but Jesse, what do you think of his vocal performance, Danny?
Yeah, I do like Jesse's vocalist. So I remember as him coming to the band, actually was a good move. Howard was Howard was singing as well. Nothing against the bloke, but I just preferred Jesse's tone better. I thought he had a better, cleaner vocal sound, and Howard had a bit of a better scream, to be fair, but Jesse has more of a death metal sound, I guess.
What I liked about Tim Howard, though, is when they did the slower songs, it made the songs sound sad. Now, even the slower songs now with Jesse, they sound happy to the point of, like, diabetes-inducing. Like, that track, 3 Cut Me Loose, every time I hear that chorus, I had to skip the track because it's like, it hits that nerve in me. I'm like, this isn't metal. Like, for me, it's too much angst and too much sappiness that transitions really weird into something like really heavy, like some of those later tracks, and it's tough. But when you hear the slower songs from Tim Howard, they have a lot of emotion and a lot of drive, So, Danny, is that kind of what you get from?
That's true. I think again, it always comes down to style and what you prefer and what sound you like to hear from the people.
Like the Arms of Sorrow, for example, from as Daylight Dies, like that kind of stuff, songs like that. Even This Is Absolution with that kind of like fasty, but it's when he hits those songs, he has more of that sad emotion coming through his voice. But Jesse Lynch has that more triumph coming from his voice. So you're going to celebrate with Jesse, but you're going to be, and he does have a lot of passion to his voice too. But with the way they would write songs for Tim Howard are definitely different from Jesse, and that's the problem I got with this album, is that it's happy. It's a celebration, and it makes me feel like,
Again, happy, not metal, Yeah.
So, Jesse does all the right things. He even stretches his lyrics thing. But the weird thing is he came out and admitted to people that he had a hard time writing for this album, and he hit a brick wall. Did you know that, Danny?
No, I did not, Matthew. No.
Yeah, so he came out and said that he had a hard time writing for it, and he had to come to Adam, who was producing the album, his guitarist, and be like, look, dude, I'm really struggling. So he'd bring new lyrics and new ideas and rah. So that might be a problem. Why I have a problem with some of these songs is because they just sound like he's kind of hitting a wall with it, and the emotions just isn't getting carried across because he hasn't really internalized some of these songs enough. But I don't know. That's a bit
I mean, that's probably true. You can hear Jesse seems to have. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the vocals leading the song or the songs leading the vocals, but he seems to have a certain rhythm or certain way he will sing the song over and over again.
But he's very good at it. Let's just be honest. All the tricks he pulls out, all those high registers, his growls, his screams, especially when Adam goes underneath him to do those dual vocals, it sounds cool. It's all there. It's just whether you like the style or not. So if you like that kind of transition from Disarm to Descent more so than the earlier stuff, then this is going to be your album. So, again, vocals are there. They're fine. But there are times for me that even I had trouble trying to get really into it. So let's kind of move on to the next section, groove. So, Danny, does this put a nail on your face? Do you headbang to it? Do you want to do runs with it? Or do you feel like just have sitting back and have a cup of tea?
Yeah, it's more the cup of tea as long as you finish the tee before the breakdowns start, because
Yeah.
they are always like they're highlights of the songs, but you can't wait 2 minutes of like just and the chorus is not so bad, but and then the breakdown comes for like 20 seconds. Oh, this is actually pretty sweet, and then because then they always cut down slow or cut back into the chorus again. Ugh.
Yeah, it's been a tricky one for this one. I'm
Yeah,
kind of going through the tracks in my head and just kind of figuring out like the times I was really angry. And I've got to be honest, there were some killer times when it was. For example, The Great Deceit, the whole song for me is a ripper. You know, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Track 8 Until This Day, really good stuff. You know,
Well, I do say like Cut Me Loose, even though Matt might think it's sickly sweet. It does have I think it's still a nice little groovy song, parts of it, you know.
It sounds very similar to It Falls On Me though. Like there's I think it's the track. No, We Carry On. Sorry. So We Carry On and Cut Me Loose. They have the same feel for the exact same thing they're trying to get across, and that, for me, it's like. Yeah, I just struggled to really grab my interest. Like, well, I didn't feel that going into these tracks.
Yeah, I don't think there's much really to say you groovy on and really get inspired to like swing along or even like mosh out to.
I mean, when I heard the first Killswitch, I'm like, yeah, like the establishment, like, but these guys are the establishment now. They're one of the biggest hardcore bands going around. So, and they're really happy about having great times with their friends and their family and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm still stuck with like, yeah, F the government. Like, they're still like screwing up our, global warming. I want to see more metal bands, not less metal bands, because everyone's gonna be too hot to play guitar.
That's right.
So I was like, but my friends love it. So, me and Danny are on our own little island on this. The grooves are cool, I guess. They're going to sometimes get you moving in the pit, but what they're going to do is get you singing. And to see them live, I think that's the best thing about this album, is that I can see where they're going with it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, I just don't. Yeah. They could do better.
It's not going to be bleak, but, this isn't a bad album. So let's just put that into perspective, We're going to talk about diversity. Diversity, do they change that often? Yes, Danny, diversity.
I mean, like, diversity is kind of like a yes or no thing. I mean, like, song structures are very similar. So the diversity is not that grand in majority of the songs because you kind of know what to expect. And even when the next song starts, like, here it comes, and you kind of, like, bounce to, like, that's how the song's going to start. Yeah. So I don't really said too much diversity. Again, Until Today was great because that was a different type of sound to it. You have some where the intros are a little bit slower, and then you have some where they might, instead of doing like a breakdown, they might do a solo, a bit of like a bridge or something.
Yeah, like Ascension would be like more punchier for the kids, but then you've got like those ballads like Cut Me Loose and, like We Carry On. But then they've got those mid-groovy songs like Strength of the Mind, which has that great chorus that everyone's going to sing. So, there's plenty of diversity on this album. The variations on riffs doesn't give me fatigue as much. It's just like you said, the structure of it will become familiar to a lot of Killswitch fans who have been following him for many years. And the biggest gripe that I'll have with this album is not Adam for his versatility because he's changed a lot, not Jesse because he's improved a lot, but the drummer's the most guiltiest suspect of this album because he's done everything that I've heard him do over the last 15 years and not much else different to push the band forward.
Oh, that should be cool. I think that's fair. I haven't heard anything. Oh, the only thing he's done differently is play Alone I Stand, which is the first track. They do this like weird either time signature or offbeat drumming where you hear like a 4/4 beat, but then the last note or bar or whatever is of the last note of the bar is like a individual tom hit or something, and it's just infuriating. That was not a clever drum choice. It really frustrates me when I hear it.
Yeah, I think because when he's pushed out of his when the drummer's pushed out of his comfort zone, he does struggle. He does exactly what the song needs, but when he's not quite in that comfortable spot, it's a bit harder. And I think I read somewhere that the album previous to this, the faster stuff was quite hard for him. So I'd like to hear him kind of like stretch the wings more when it's his chance to kind of get into a song, just to help break up, because it might be why for me, being a long-term Killswitch fan, why hearing all these songs for me are like, I kind of get this feeling where it's deja vu. But again, because Jesse and Adam do so well to incorporate new ideas in that, and there's new strong structures, and even though it is more happier, it is new sound. So, it's polarizing for me. I can't hate the album for what it tries to do, but what I can do is just give you my thoughts on how I didn't connect with it because of its of the progression where the band's heading now, and where it's going at.
Yes, fair. So I think, should we move on to our fifth and final
production? Danny, do you hear everything off the album? Do you love what you hear? Is it all a good big piece of deliciousness?
I would say this is an appetizer because it doesn't leave you full, and it kind of somehow stimulates your senses. But I wouldn't use it as a main course, no, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be an album I won't return to unless I hear that they're coming back to Adelaide, which I will definitely hear this album again to memorize that, because the best time I have is being at a Killswitch concert and getting amongst the fans and seeing everyone singing these choruses together and that. So for me, the album can be reviewed twice. One, for when I get to see them live, and I know I'm going to have a great time singing these songs with them, but one that's going to make continuous rotations in my CD player, in my car or at home, and I don't even see myself wanting to put this album. I was listening to other CDs that we're going to review in the future more than this album, so that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, this is a bit of a letdown. To be honest, those Killswitch fans, I don't really think would. I can't speak for other people. I don't have that ability. But again, being an older man now, I can tell you what I think people should be believing in their heads, and they should be.
We're saying, right, apparently.
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, and they should be saying, no, we want another. We can't wait till the next album gets released, or go back to the older stuff, because there's nothing too much new with this album.
Yeah, when I heard those extra songs from the album on the B-sides, or you could say, I was like, wow, like they are songs that I would genuinely enjoy. But this is an album. So Danny, final thoughts. Would you recommend this album? What do you think overall?
Oh, look, I really wouldn't recommend this album. If I wanted to get a new person to Killswitch, I definitely wouldn't get them into this album, because it's not that exciting. Again, because there's nothing really memorable off this album. I mean, it's funny because like this song here, it seems like every song could be broken into two halves. It could be broken like pre-second chorus and post-second chorus, because everything at the same chorus is kind of the same structure, and everything post-second chorus is where you see or might feel a bit of a different guitar sound or riff, because the breakdowns, again, are probably the best parts of the songs.
Yeah.
So if you can start every song just only from the breakdowns, well, at least you might hear something different or a bit memorable, but apart from that, that's what I can really say.
Yeah, to any metal fan that's listening that hasn't checked out Killswitch, there's a reason why Killswitch is so big and popular. Is that every album, though, has incorporated many ideas, but they have a home in hardcore, but they still do thrash riffs, death metal licks, or even like some darker, heavier stuff, which makes them very accessible to a lot of fans. And then when they do those big choruses that they're singing and stuff, it can get you rolled up very positively. So this is a Disarm the Descent 2 for me kind of sense. It gives me that kind of theme, the way it's written. So if you love that album, definitely check this out. But for other metalheads, I would suggest, if you're getting into this band, you want to check out Alive or Just Breathing for sure, or End a Heartache as well, and maybe even Disarm the Descent if you want to see a better representation of these kind of happy, different variation of kind of riffs and songs like that. So all in all, Danny, we'll just kind of finish on that with it. So that's our review of Killswitch Engage the Incarnate. Yeah. Another decent album, so check it out if you get a chance.
Yeah, to put it another way, if this was my birthday present, I would wish for another birthday. Yeah. So that's how I put it.
I'd be like, Santa, step it up,
Santa on my birthday? I'm not Jesus!
So let's give us another installment here of Super Metal Brothers on our lovely podcast. It's been a pleasure. Now, next week, we're going to do we're going to get into it. We're going to sell ourselves. We sold ourselves on it before. We're doing the Baby Metal album. Danny, can you believe we're going to be reviewing Baby Metal?
No. If you asked me this 2 years ago, I would say, what the hell was Baby Metal?
Yeah, Metal Resistance is the album, so you must come and listen to our thoughts, feelings on that. I guarantee you're going to get a laugh out of it, because there's some craziness on this record.
Yeah. It does start a boggle mind of what they actually do and what their songs actually sound like.
Well, thank you for tuning in once again, guys. I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dan.
And we have been the Super Metal Brothers. Thank you for listening. Check us out next week, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care, guys. Thank you.